Honda-powered Miata. Brad, tell us about this real quick.
So this has got a, it's a 1991. It's got a K20A from a DC5 Type R. This is what's unique about it is that it's a rear-wheel, right-hand drive.
Yeah.
So we had to re-engineer a subframe to make this work. The engine sits on S2000 engine mounts. This car we've built to be mostly a street car. It's probably 80% street car, 20% track car.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, we wanted it to have like basically stock NVH. We didn't want it to vibrate too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, pleased to say it really lives up to that. So it's
it looks completely OEM of the engine.
yeah, it's like an NA, but it has the power of a DC5 or an RSX. So
Wow. Can we pop the engine bay?
yeah, sure.
Look at that. What transmission is this using?
This has got an NB 6-speed.
Oh, so you make adapters for that?
The bell housing pattern for a 5-speed and a 6-speed is the same.
Yeah.
So it was just a matter of installing the 6-speed. So
Wow. That's so cool, dude.
Let's check this out.
Oh, that's so wild.
yeah, so we have the K-Power intake manifold, K-Power transmission adapter,
Yeah.
and then the subframe is basically a honed subframe. We do the engine mounts, we do the engine brackets. We worked out how to position the steering rack to make all this work.
Right.
One of the really tricky things was trying to get we have really tight clearance for the steering column up past the header.
Yeah, look at this exhaust manifold and
Yeah.
all this stuff down here.
Excuse the grime. It was on track just recently and hasn't been detailed since, but
Yeah, don't worry.
you can tell we used the car.
Yeah. You guys made your own exhaust manifold?
We had them made for us, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So even though it's a slightly compromised header layout, the car still made 127 kilowatts on the dyno. So
Okay, I'm gonna Google what that is in horsepower.
in horsepower, yeah. Basically, it makes similar power to what a DC5 would make.
A DC5 would make.
Yeah.
So it's pretty torquey then.
It is torquey, and because we now have such a wide RPM range now, this will rev to 8,200. We've installed a 4.3 final drive rear differential and LSD, so you can really make use of that full power band.
That's crazy. You even kept the canister here?
Yeah, with this car, the original dash, everything works. That's the original sender for the oil system.
Wow. You have the booster?
The booster delete, yeah.
So what's the purpose of the booster delete for the people that don't know?
It's a manual brake conversion. It gives you a firmer pedal, gives you a more direct relationship between your foot on the pedal and what the brakes are doing. And we find that is a real benefit when we're tracking the car for heel toe.
But on the streets, you got to step on the brakes a little bit more.
You do. But in the case of this car, this is a manual steering rack car. So it's got relatively heavy steering feel and so having a heavy brake pedal, it all just feels natural.
Yeah. Wow, this is cool. You made all the coolant stuff right here, hard pipe. Is this something that you guys sell?
We do sell the swap kits, yeah.
Swap kits? Oh, look at that. Little intake right here. Wow. This has enough flex that does it pull this off?
It does, yeah. It does rub a little bit on the bonnet, but
Oh, dude, that is so cool. What suspension are you using?
it's got an Australian brand called MCA.
MCA, okay.
Miata is renowned for how well they can handle.
Right.
This car now handles, brakes, and accelerates equally as strong in all areas. So
Wow. How much is a swap kit?
it depends how far you go, but say starting from 8,000 Australian and then going from there.
The one thing that you got to do here is either notch your hood or notch the valve cover.
That's right.
Whichever choice. You know what? A company called Skunk 2, they have a magnesium cover that's lower profile.
That's another option as well, yep.
Why does it have like a Subaru-ish burble sound? Kind of like a...
If I had to guess, probably because the header's not equal length.
How expensive are hardtops here in Australia?
Very expensive. Yeah, about the same price as the car.
You know what? It's the same in the USA.
We actually picked this up pre-COVID, so
Yeah, cheaper.
a lot cheaper than what they would be now.
How are the cops here with modified cars?
Extremely strict.
Really?
Yeah.
Here in Melbourne or just Australia in general?
Australia in general, yeah.
Jesus Christ, why? Is it all the hooning stuff you guys do?
It's, you know, it's the land of the convicts, and it's just like a cultural thing.
Valid point. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, so this, like, you wouldn't really know that this is an engine swap car, and that was kind of the vibe we were going for, until you obviously put your foot down.
Oh, dude. That's so crazy to have VTEC in a friggin' NA Miata. Yeah, what he was saying was, there's not a lot of vibration on this car. Kind of like my Miata or my Integra, it's like shaking the shit out of everything. This feels pretty stock, to be honest. No AC?
No AC.
Yeah.
No AC, no power steering.
Proper.
No power brakes.
Yeah. Oh, dude. That's crazy. Dude, this pulls.
Yeah, it goes.
Well, I'm assuming the gauge cluster is not accurate.
Yeah, it is.
It is accurate. Wow. Look at that. So do you prefer this over like a, like an EG or EK at the track? Or?
That's a hard question.
Dude, that's like a question I always have to answer to people, because they're like, well, you got Miatas and you got your Hondas. Which one do you like better, at the track or the canyon or the mountain roads?
I have a lot more seat time in the front wheel drive Hondas, so
Yeah. That's
probably where I feel more comfortable.
front wheel drive driving.
Yeah. But I do really like this car.
Yeah.
We're running it on a smaller tire. We're running it on 205.
Yeah.
So it's not like maxed out in terms of mechanical grip. So it moves around a bit, and I really like that aspect of it as well.
Yeah. Because you still have some like slidey action.
Yeah, and you really have to drive it. Like you have to try and find the grip.
Dang, dude. Yeah, I prefer my Integra as well. I mean, I have my two Miatas. I got one that's completely stock.
Yep.
But crazy, dude. That's insane. So if you pull up next to a police car, what do? You just
I just look straight forward and turn the gauge. But this car is actually engineered, so even if they were to inspect it, it would be fine.
Yeah. So how do you legalize a swap like this in Australia? Do you have to go to the police and have it written off, or how does that work?
So there's a process called engineering. That's what they refer to it as. And basically you have like a third party assess the car versus the Australian design rules.
Yeah.
And this car's been through that process and passed. So.
Dude, that's crazy. This is awesome. How come this is the first time I've heard about this swap kit? You guys have never like popped this out on social or?
Oh, we do. We posted a lot about it when we first built it.
Yeah.
And then that process that I was just talking about, that engineering process.
Yeah.
That probably took 2 years. So.
Wow.
There's a bunch of things you have to do, like brake testing. There was some stuff they had to do to prove that the subframe has a similar strength and would react in a similar way in a crash to the original subframe. That took the majority of the time. And while that was happening in the background, we just didn't post about it as much. But
now it's available to order.
We've been selling the kits. There's 10 of the kits that we put together are out in the world, and there's probably 3 or 4 other cars driving around, and then the other ones are still in the build at the moment.
There you go. That's cool. So if you guys want to get one of these, DM them. Don't ask me.